This episode of The Mimic's Veil is brought to you by Taste Invader tea and the word anachronistic. Speaking of tea, we let our thoughts brew on the newest cozy indie game Wanderstop. Then we're immediately in for some tonal whiplash talking about Mullet Mad Jack. And finally, emerging from the shadows of long-term development and delay, can this latest open-world offering stay the blade of irrelevance from the flesh of Ubisoft? It's Assassin's Creed Shadows.
You guys are always like at the forefront of all the cool games, and I'm either playing just, rubbish or games from yesteryear. He says, what's Assassin's Creed Shadows? What's it like? Because it looks lovely.
It does look lovely. Ben might disagree, but I mean, I don't know if it's the power of the PS5 Pro or what, but it looks delicious. But it's more. It's not just good looks. Like, I'm really, really enjoying this. Probably the most I've enjoyed an Assassin's Creed game in a long time. Like, not loved, but I really enjoy an Assassin's Creed game. Like, the whole structure of the game works for me. You can jump in and out of it. You don't really need to pay too much attention to the story. There's plenty to keep you busy and plenty of choice to what you want to do. Like, say, 2 nights ago I played for like 3.5 hours and didn't do any main missions. I was just wandering and taking people out or going here, there and everywhere to say, what's that? But I think this one, I feel like they've taken that extra time from November when it was supposed to come out to now to polish it. It does feel far more polished than these games tend to feel. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's definitely better. And it maybe feels some of it's a wee bit dated, some of it is still your traditional Ubisoft open world game, but they've tried some different things, and you might like them, you might not like them. If you don't like them, you can turn them off. Fair.
What was the last Assassin's Creed game that you played?
Valhalla.
Before
so
this?
I have played
that you really enjoyed.
Origins I enjoyed the most. I really liked Odyssey. Valhalla was alright, and then I feel like this one's gone back up to the kind of Origins level for me.
So where was Origins set? Was that
Egypt,
okay. And then Odyssey was Greece.
yes.
Right. Makes sense.
Valhalla was.
What's the one? Because I've not played an Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed 2. But the one I did want to play it, but never, because I've seen a screenshot a few years ago of whatever the character is, basically dangling off the end of a big stone Willy.
Of course, that was the one you went to spoil.
I was like, I want to play this game because it looks funny.
That is funny. I don't know what that one is.
No, it sounds like it could have been Valhalla, to be fair, but I'm not.
Possibly just a dream.
Yeah, it may have just been a dream.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Just for audio listeners, that was the sound of Lewis hanging off a big stone Willy.
It was like, imagine one of those things that you see like at car sales rooms, the big inflatable
thing. So, complete opposite end of the spectrum. I have never played an Assassin's Creed game other than dabbling a little bit in Black Flag. I think I played that for about an hour when that first came out.
That's surprising.
Never. Well, again, I talk about my sort of gaming dark ages, and that's when they became popular, isn't it? Is during that time. So, yeah, this one, I think it was the setting that made me think, actually, I'd like to give that a go as well.
Yeah.
So, loved Ghost of Tsushima, love Japan, and I made the mistake of starting it whilst not in a very good mood. I think, Lewis, you can relate to this pretty hard, I reckon. But basically, I was in a bit of a grump, but I thought, I better play it. and I had I was just, when it's just like impossible to impress you with anything. It's like,
Yeah.
these graphics are rubbish. Like, not rubbish, but like, why is everyone saying they're really good? Like, it looks all right, but it's no better than Ghost of Tsushima, which came out years ago. And it's quite fun to run around as this big guy, but then after half an hour, you're just playing as this little stealthy woman, and then apparently you're stuck controlling her for the next 10 hours. And I let that put me off literally after playing just the prologue. And obviously I was sort of jokingly taking the piss out of it in our little group and stuff, and playing the heel, as it were. And I have gone back to it since, and I think I get it now. I think the bit where so Nawe, the stealthy shinobi lady, you're playing as her predominantly to start with, and there's a bit where she gets injured, and then there's this like montage where almost like an 80s movie montage where she's recovering, and this sort of visually brilliant, but also like the music felt like quite contemporary. I don't know if it was like Japanese rock music, but it was, I don't know, it just felt like, oh, this is a nice little sort of creative twist that like, it was like not jarringly anachronistic, but just like, oh, this is set in feudal Japan, and yet here's this kind of modern music. It was just like, it just worked, and it just felt fresh to me. And it just felt, oh, this isn't just a paint by numbers action game, like, because you hear, oh, it's just a Ubisoft game, and I think I let that put me off. But this does feel like it has got something about it, and they've made some creative choices, and it is fun to control her, and she's a very likable character as well, which helps a lot. So yeah, I'm back in after what was a very shaky start.
I think you're saying about it are being a likeable character. I think they're all quite likeable characters, and I don't know at what point you're through, but I'm assuming you will have met Junjiro, because he's there right from the beginning of kind of looking after.
Yeah, the chubby little kid. Yeah.
And I really like him, and then all the other characters as he starts to come out, and then when you get to Yusuke as well, they're all quite nice. And like, although the story, I'm not that bothered at this point about what the story is. I'm more bothered about how the characters are interacting, and I'm genuinely feeling the relationships between the characters. I think they're doing a really good job of that, particularly as you get towards the end of Act 1, which I know I'm not going to say too much because I know you're not there yet, Ben, but it's a couple of times later as well, like that thing you're talking about in terms of the music and the contemporary music, they do that again. And I think even then the bits for some of the animations when you upgrade some of your attacks and your finishers and some of your special attacks, when it goes like white and the blood and all of that, kind of cinematicness of that's really cool. And like, it just, some of the vistas, like the setting really works for how well it looks, and like climbing some of the palaces and some of the castles.
There's something about that, you just reminded me, the something about the environment. Obviously the comparisons with Ghost of Tsushima, you'll get that a lot. And obviously that Ghost used wind as your way to navigate the world. I think the use of wind in this is even better. Like, they don't use it in the same way that Ghost does. I mean, you can still get like a sat nav to guide you to your next objective, but the feel of the environment, if it does feel alive, and it feels like the wind is changing direction, and almost so I was playing it with headphones on, and it's almost like I was getting that like distortion that wind causes when you've got headphones on, and you can just hear this, like, it's very hard to replicate, but you know what I mean? Like, it felt like that, and I was like, I don't know how they've done this, but it feels like there's wind blowing around. Just very, really, really clever. Really clever.
Two things from me, and this goes out to everybody. Anachronistic is belonging to a period other than being portrayed. I don't know if I fucking Scooby-Doo what you were talking about there, so I had to Google it.
Neither did I, but I just nodded on.
And I will say, so Steve, who I was basically moaning to him because he's a big fan of this game as well, and I was moaning to him about about my first hour with the prologue, and then we got talking about the music and stuff, and he used that word, and I said to him, I'm going to fucking take that for the podcast. So, thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
And also, 10 points if, like me, you also laughed at Ben saying a clever use of wind.
Just to bring the level
right
back down
down
again to our level. Yeah. No, it's so it does feel a bit like it's got that same sort of thing that I like about Horizon, where I can see where my next big mainline objective is, but then there's a couple of question marks along the way there. Yeah. So I'll just have a little look, see what that is, and I think if you're in the mood for that sort of game, this is gonna tick all those boxes in. I just think she's very fun to control when you get used to her move set.
How many weapons have you unlocked that she's got? Are you still just in the katana, or have you unlocked any of the others?
Just katana and then the kunai just to pick people off. But I think you get them both at the start, don't you?
Yeah, so there's another two. There's another two like actual weapons, and then you can unlock the other stuff in the skill tree. But
skill tree seems pretty. Like I haven't really spent many points on the skill tree because I don't know whether to commit to like being a stealthy assassin or whether I should just go, well, actually, I'm just going to go in and fuck people up.
I try a wee bit of both, and I'm now, the last thing I unlocked is double assassination, which I quite like. So when you've got one of the other weapons that you can get, and then the hidden blade, like if there's two people together, you can then get them both at the same time.
Kill them both at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I might look out for that.
I put skill trees that I find quite annoying. Because there's a bit of that, like, but what I don't know what missing out on stuff is. Yeah, and what I'm going to miss out on. I find skill trees to be.
This one's quite interesting in how they've done it. Really, going back to how Valhalla's was, and Valhalla's was very much a big spider's web, whereas that's very, very different. Whereas you basically need to build up your knowledge level to unlock the different bits that you can unlock in the skill tree. So you start you need to get knowledge with level 1, 2, 3, 4, and you unlock your knowledge level through doing different tasks within the world, whether that go and be like exploring temples or praying at things, or there's other specific things that Yasuke can do, and it's quite it's again just them trying something a wee bit different, which I appreciate. In the scouting system, I know some people aren't fans of. You can either send your scouts out to try and find where the objectives are, and then you can then go to them, or you can turn that off and it'll just tell you where the objective point is, again giving you the option whether you want to use your scouts or you don't want to use the scouts.
I need to look at that option, because some of that stuff is a bit confusing, like even like in the open world, just walking about and I can see groups fighting each other, and then I just end up killing all of them, like both sides. And I'm like, should I be doing this? Is one of them the good guy?
They're fighting with each other. But...
Okay, because I was like, well, I should sort this out. Which I thought this afterwards. Surely the baddies are the ones with the guns, and the goodies are the ones that look like they're tending to their farm.
Yeah.
But I just assassinated all of them. It's Assassin's Creed. Surely I should just be killing everyone. So I did. And no consequences, as far as I can tell, which is good.
No, not really. But very impressed. I think I'm probably more impressed than I expected to be.
And I'm glad I have gone back to it and stuck with it.
Do you know the HLTB?
I think it's about 40. Isn't it?
I don't think it's the longest one to finish the main story, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 40 because I remember saying to Laurie, he was moaning about, it's going to take me 6 months to finish this because I'm such a busy adult. And I remember saying, well, just get it done in a weekend.
It says 30 for main story, 50 6.5 for main plus extra. Completionist, 85.
That's not too bad.
No.
I mean, it's still a long time.
When you go back to Valhalla, I think to finish the main story in Valhalla, you were at like 70 or 80. I feel like it took me to finish the main story in Valhalla. Because I think I've already done maybe 12, 15 hours to finish
pretty
Act
good.
1. But I did do a lot of side stuff just because you're exploring what the side stuff is as much as anything, and like going and like drawing pictures of the animals and stuff, which is just bizarre. But I kind of quite like it.
I see. That's the shit I'm enjoying. Is the little like the moments of tranquility between assassinations. That's the bit I'm enjoying the most. Is you just get a little thing pop on your like compass at the top of the screen, and you can just sort of creep up on animals and then draw them. Like it just draws it automatically as part of a cutscene.
Then you can hang them on the walls of your hideout.
Yeah. The hideout thing, I was a bit like, do we need this? Is that a standard Assassin's Creed thing to have like a base camp?
Not in the same way. Like you usually just like it's automatically there, and you just need to do stuff to upgrade it. So you have your base camps, and it's just like, well, you get so many points, and you can upgrade it and add this and add that. But it's not. This one feels it's more got the building bit of it, which I don't feel was there as much before. It was just that you always had a base and you just upgraded it. Whereas this one is, as you upgrade it, you're actually building the building and designing it and all that. And I'm not that bothered about that, to be honest. But
yeah, some of it feels a bit superfluous, but still like that's not another Steve word. That was just yeah, a bit extra, but the core gameplay is it's fun.
It's nice
Good
comfort
fun.
food with actually a wee bit more substance this time, I would put it to. Like I feel there's more. It's deserving of some of the praise that it's getting, and I feel like some people are dragging it down a wee bit unfairly as well.
Yeah, like I was, to be honest. But yeah, it feels. I guess it feels classier than I expected it to. Which is nice. It's nice to play something that surprises you to that extent. But yeah, comforting. What's go on, Lewis? You look like you've got a question locked and loaded.
No, it's. I mean, that's all you kind of want, isn't it? For it to be comfort food, you're not looking for anything that out there with Assassin's Creed games.
No, not at all. And it's doing that. It's just. It's probably. It's kind of everything I hoped it would be, really, which is nice.
30 hours, like looking at how long to beat for others, Valhalla is 60 hours, 61 hours to beat up Valhalla. That's a long game. That's just the main story. Like,
I'm pretty
it's
sure
nice
like,
to see them
with the
pull it back.
DLC of Valhalla was like well over 100 hours, wasn't it, apparently?
Yeah.
Finish it all. Mental. Yeah, it's good. I haven't seen any hint of any microtransaction stuff either. I'm sure it must be in there somewhere.
It is in there, and it's mainly
Ubisoft,
cosmetic-y stuff. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, so pretty positive after a shaky start. It's not I don't think it's the best start to a game. Certainly for a newcomer to go, oh, here's this cool, really powerful character. Oh, right, you're not controlling him anymore. Now you need to sneak around. I do think it did a terrible job of introducing it for a noob, but yeah, if you can push through that, there's gold.
Yeah, I feel it'd almost been better like keeping him there and part of the story in the prologue, but just having you always controlling Naoe so that you didn't make.
Yeah.
When you got to a stage where you did get control, it was almost a nice surprise rather than a why am I not?
Yeah, because I feel like I think maybe something. Part of the reason I felt a bit pissed off with it was because I was led to believe by the marketing prior to release that you could switch between them, and there was no indication of, well, actually, you're going to have to put up with 10 hours of stealth to start with before you can just run around smashing everything. But yeah, I mean, turns out she's very fun to control, and actually, if you drop it down to easy, as you said to me, Alex, you don't have to be that stealthy anyway.
No.
You can just get into a scrap and sort everyone out.
You can also turn on one shot like one hit assassination, so that no matter how powerful and stuff the enemies are, it's still like more of a realistic assassination as well. So it's pretty good.
I
I'd
obviously did
recommend
that straight
Yeah.
away. Yeah. But Lewis, what you've been dabbling in some comfort food as well, haven't you, over this last week?
Some comfort food. I can quickly talk. I'm doing a platinum run. I've binned all my save from Shadow of the Tree. I'm doing what I need to get the platinum for Elden Ring. That's just a side.
So hang on,
And a
you've
side.
binned your Shadow of the Tree save.
Yeah.
But I thought you were up to like the final boss, weren't you?
I am, but there's no chance. I'm sick of fighting him.
So you've just let that go.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Let it
Fair
go.
play.
Because it was like, it was just winding me up. And maybe I'll go back and I'll just be extra strong next time.
Yep.
So yeah, shouldn't take me too long to get around there. But anyway, I've been playing quite a fun game called Mullet Mad Jack. It's on Game Pass, and it's like a corridor shooter arcade style roguelike, really 80s inspired. Even like the developers, I think, what's the developer's name? Hammer 95. Like their logo is like a cool looking arcade machine. But it's sort of set in the 80s, sort of quite futuristic at the same time. There's a lot of these robots have taken over, and you've got to go and save a princess, air quotes, that's been sort of kidnapped by a robot, and they keep getting higher and higher in this high-rise building. So you've got to go through, I think 10 floors is one level, and that's how it sort of progresses. And you just go on each floor, just sort of going through it pretty much as fast as you can. You get 10 seconds in total. If you run out of your time, you dead. But each baddie you kill, I think you get like 2 seconds, 4 seconds, I think, depending on how hard that person is to beat. So if they've got armor, I think you might get 4 seconds. If it's just a normal robot, it's 2 seconds. But it's
Very
zippy.
arcadey.
You know, I talk about like games being fast. It is super fast. It's just it's a cool game. I think. Have you played it, Alex?
I have played a wee bit of it. So I did have this on Steam and never ever got round to trying it. So I had it on the Steam Deck and stuff. But when it came to Game Pass, I have jumped in and played a wee bit of it, not much. And it is cool. Definitely cool.
It's after each level, you've got like a chance to upgrade your run, like you would in any of these types of games. You can choose to have your protagonist be silent, but you can also have him just reeling off lots of quotes. I've sort of pulled up a few here. Business in the front, part in the back, when he's sort of mowing through people, because this guy has a mullet, and I think at the end of each stage, so after 10 floors, you get a rating, and if you get it might change from level to level actually, but each time I've noticed it, I've had a different mullet as like the ratings. You get an A, and it's like sort of slick back, and it's sort of like, or like action cop or something like that, and it's really like flat top and long at the back. So it depends. I think it depends on how well you do, is how sort of tubular or radical your mullet is. But sort of pulling up some of these quotes. Girls love basic hygiene, something the guy says, apparently. I can't think I've heard that one. I've definitely heard the part of the business in the front, part in the back. Sit up straight now is another one that he comes out with.
Snappy.
But it's really cool. Like there are a few different difficulty settings. I think there's about 8. Like there's leisurely, and there's like within the leisurely bracket, there's like two or three different potential difficulties. And then there's the same for like super easy and then really difficult. But a surprising amount of story. Like you get to a certain point and you get like a quite aggressively violent cutscene. And I was like, I was not expecting this, because it is kind of adult-ish Saturday morning. If you're an adult Saturday morning cartoon, that's how I would describe the cutscenes in this.
Right.
But it's like super stylish. It is really cool. Even if you go and play it for half an hour, it's one of those that the sort of dopamine, the dopamine hit's pretty instant on it, I think, and it's easy to play.
Because it's a wee bit like Angerfoot to a certain extent, like Anger.
Yeah,
it's a
it looks
similar
it.
type game to Angerfoot.
But
I think
is it Devolver as well?
No. So Angerfoot's 12, this isn't. But I think Mullet Mad Jack's better. And I think it looks, not in terms of, I think it's just got a better art style. It's just more striking. It's got more character. But it's a similar like type of gameplay.
Yeah. Sort of frenetic first person. Yeah.
There's a digital unboxing. So one of the options you can, main menu is to go and unbox the game.
Right.
So it's like you get throughout the game there's there's someone talking to you on your, you've got like a phone almost, or this little sort of device in front of you that's got a face talking to you at all times when you're playing the game. But when you go into the unboxing, she's like, oh yeah, this is for the authentic 80s and 90s experience. And then like it's got like, you sort of slowly open the box and the manual comes out and there's like the actual physical game, and it's cool. It's kind of the same way as like you might get that on like the Turtles collection had, but that was like real games. This is obviously for a made up. This is but it's cool. Just like those little bits of detail I quite like.
It does look cool. It's weird. It's like interesting following up, because I spoke about Children of the Sun last week. This is another 2024 game that had a bit of a fanfare around it when it first came out, but it seemed to die within a week. But this, I mean, it's like an 88 on Metacritic. It's obviously got some sauce.
I think it's that thing when, I mean, although Steam is huge, I think when a game gets stuck on Steam and it takes a while to hit consoles, it does get that second wave when it comes across, like what this is getting hitting Game Pass. And I think the decision to get it straight on a Game Pass, I think, is a very wise one. But hope it does well.
It looks good.
Yeah, I recommend giving it a shot.
Nice. Another thing that I think we can all recommend is Taste Invader tea.
Oh,
It's juicy.
That's right. The Mimic's Veil is sponsored by Taste Invader. Taste Invader creates unique tea blends with creative twists on the classics and flavour combos that don't exist anywhere else. Their loose leaf tea blends are designed to be daring and delicious right down to the packaging, featuring augmented reality arcade style animation. And this week, we have been mostly enjoying Juicy IPA.
We
That
have.
blend. We've all taken delivery of that, and how bloody lovely is it?
It is very tasty.
Lewis, you are muted. Such is your excitement.
God damn it. I say that's the one I was like, out of them all, the one that I was particularly looking forward to trying out.
Yeah. And does it deliver?
It does deliver, indeed.
Yeah. It is. I don't know how, and it sounds like we're being hyperbolic, but I don't know how a tea can be juicy, but it is like, it is.
It is.
Like it's very, I don't know what it is. When I first tried it, I was like, oh, it's quite sort of thirst quenching and citrusy, and yeah, it's very impressive. I don't know, as you can tell, I don't really know how to talk about tea or video games, but love it. Really nice. I think it's my favourite one so far, to be honest with you.
Mine too. That is definitely mine.
Same. I think I've become a loose leaf tea guy.
Yeah.
Like I like a bit of faff. Like I
you
like
do.
coffee and all
You're
that
a
sort
faffer.
of shite when I need to grind the coffee beans and all that sort of stuff. But like, I never thought about that with loose leaf tea. I like getting my little strainer out, putting the tea in the strainer. Oh, it's nice. It's therapeutic, I would say.
It is. It is
Give me
nice.
tea scoop.
Yeah. And apparently, so I was reading the, well, in fact, I've got it here. So the description of Juicy IPA. East Coast IPA is prized for its citrusy hops, hints of pine and tropical fruit. Flavours so delicious that we sold them. Want even more refreshment? Just add cold water and leave overnight for a ridiculously quaffable cold brew iced tea.
Well, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think I might try that.
Well, I do have a cold brew tea maker somewhere. I'll need to dig that out.
Of course you do. Of course you do. If it's a gadget,
I have a jug.
Alex will have it.
Right, just a jug.
Okay. You have a jug. Oh, I've got a jug. But I know Smark has taken advantage of our code and bought some of this, and he's a big fan of this as well, isn't he? Which is nice. But yeah, if you like the sound of that or any of the other lovely blends from Taste Invader, pop on over to tasteinvader.co.uk and use the code TMV to get yourself 15% off. It is lovely stuff.
Yep.
Lovely stuff. And I think, following that, go on.
I was going to say, it's worth, even, you'd be supporting like a small independent business in doing that.
I was like,
that's it. I'm just saying, and then nothing else. Like you're just saying,
no, that is a genuinely nice thing. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, this isn't Manscaped. This is just.
It's not, you're not even money to Tetley. It's No,
this isn't big T. This is little T. And to transition smoothly out of talking about tea, I have been playing Wanderstop.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Which is all about
digital tea making. Still, yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. So you play as an adventurer, a warrior who has basically never lost a fight in her life. And then she gets to a stage where she starts losing and she wants to fix that problem. So she goes off on a quest to find someone to help her basically get her mojo back. But during the course of walking through the forest, she finds that she can't carry her sword anymore and she keeps collapsing. And then she wakes up in this clearing at this tea shop. And then this guy, Borrow, who basically seems like Gru out of Despicable Me, but friendly and warm and likable, and not surrounded by little twats, so he kind of helps you, nurses you back to health, and just says, hey, why don't you just hang out here for a bit instead of going on with your quest? You can go on with your quest if you want to, but it seems like you're struggling. You're welcome to leave. But if you just want to hang out here, you can work at my tea shop. I'll teach you how to brew tea, how to, grow the different ingredients for the tea, how to, basically just chill out. And that is the game. And it's from the Davey Reedon, the guy that made Stanley Parable and The Beginner's Guide. So just knowing that, it's trying to tell you something, it's trying to teach you something. But I think what it is it's an odd one. It's just basically telling you to just chill the fuck out. Like, stop pushing yourself to be the best or be, or succeed or be perceived as successful, whatever it might be, and just give yourself a break. And that is an odd thing to put into a video game because obviously video games in general, and certainly in this era, are designed to keep your attention and keep you coming back and want to make you hit the next objective and everything else and get that next dopamine hit. This isn't that at all. Like, some of the mechanics are nice. The convoluted way that you brew tea for these different customers that come in and all of that is sort of gamey, but the rest of it is just kind of do what you want at your own pace.
So what do? Is you go and find ingredients? There's obviously no combat.
There's no combat. There's no time restraints. So you will, after the sort of tutorial bit where Borrow is kind of teaching you, this is how you pick the tea leaves. This is how you dry out the tea leaves. This is how you use the tea brewing machine. This is how you wash the tea cups. After he teaches you all of that stuff, then a customer will sort of meander in and they'll say, no, I don't want tea. I just want to hang out, sort of thing. And because you are playing as this sort of driven character, you're like, well, no, I need to give you tea. This is now my role. I need to give you tea. He's like, no, I'm good. I just want to hang out. And it's obviously, yeah. Well, it's art, right? So you can take from it what you will. But it's like, yeah, I think it's just trying to teach you to give yourself a break. And what I'm taking from it is avoiding burnout by being kinder to yourself, kind of thing. And I think that's quite a nice message for a game. But as I said, it's an odd message for a game because it is a little bit at odds with the compulsion to keep playing something. It's just not there with this game. Like, it's a lovely world to exist in. It's beautiful. But I don't feel like, shit, I want to see what happens next, because that's not the point of the game. And there might be nothing, and it's completely, I'm in control of what happens next. If I just want to pick tea leaves or rake up, a mess in the garden, I can do that. So that's a strange one.
How long are you playing it for in a session?
I think I've probably done 3 hours.
Wow.
Probably like an hour at a time, I would say, so far.
It's on Steam Deck?
This is on Steam Deck, yeah. And perfect for that. Runs really well. But it's like an odd thing. It's like, in my stupid gamer brain, I'm like, well, I should get back and I should finish Wanderstop. But then I'm like, but does Wanderstop want me to go back and finish Wanderstop? Like, it's just really weird. And it is, it's almost got this like meta part of it that's like, hey, I'll go back to it when I feel like going back to it. That's what Wanderstop would want me to do. And for that reason, I think it's very clever and, yeah, quite beautiful in that sense.
It sounds quite farming simmy.
It is, but I don't think you really have to engage with any of that. There's no pressure to, so like Animal Crossing, you're like, well, shit, it's a new day. I need to do this. I need to, pick my apples or they're going to rot, or there's none of that at all. I need to sell this, otherwise I'm going to run out of money. It's just like one continuous day. There's no time pressure, no monetary pressure, no pressure whatsoever from any aspect. Even the customers that come in, someone will ask for, something that makes them feel energized, and you have to kind of work out what that is. But they'll sit there for days, like they'll wait for their tea while you figure it out. And even if you can't be asked to figure it out, there's a book that basically tells you what to make if you want to consult that. So it's just, it is kind of a farming sim, but it's almost like a piss take of a farming sim as well. Because really those farming sims are preying on that need to do stuff and to make progress and to be constantly, accruing more resources all the time. Whereas this is a bit like the antithesis of that. So, yeah, it's such a weird one. It's a weird one to kind of critique because it's so fucking clever and so beautiful, but at the same time, I don't feel like playing it all the time.
Does it have an end?
I think it does, yeah. I don't think it's particularly long. I think it's like 10 hours. But so normally, if I had a 10-hour game in front of me, I'd be like, right, bang, 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 get this done in a week kind of thing. But it's just, I'll go back to it when I feel like it, and I think that's the point, basically.
It's nice to have a game like that, I think.
It is. Yeah, It is. But yeah, I think it's... Yeah, well, Alex, I mean, it's in the family library. I think it's worth... It's worth... I would recommend it to everyone to try, just because of that. Yeah, I think everyone will take something different from it. I'm just describing what I've taken from it, and it's
I think it's on Game Pass, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is.
Isn't
I
it?
don't think so. I don't think so. Feels like it should be. It feels like it would do well on Game Pass, but yeah, it's a special one, but in a funny kind of way. But yeah, if that sounds interesting, check out Wanderstop. Check it out. Anything else? We've played loads this week, haven't we? I think we've all been like dipping in and out of different bits and bobs. What else have you got up your sleeve, Alex?
I mean, I've got a couple of one. I could almost categorise these into like so. We want to go down the ball category because we could have a couple of games of balls.
Oh yeah.
So there's Rogue Bricks, which I talked about before. When we did Steam Next Fest, because I'd played a demo in Steam Next Fest, and they released a full game of this. So thank you to Arcade Nest for the code, and I'm loving this. Like, it's just very much an Alex game. Like, this is just typical Brick Breaker, but it's almost roguelike. You need to get through so many stages, get to a boss and beat the boss and progress. But there's all different power-ups, there's all different bonus stages, different types of ships, different types of balls, different types of... you can upgrade your ship, you can upgrade your XP that you pull. So it's almost like a Survivor's like in a ball breaker, because you do get XP as you go through to level up. Then as you level up, you can get different powers and different skills, which help you break through the blocks. So you could get like a spiky ball that just breaks through the blocks. Your balls can get bigger to like bounce off more. You can get like a sticky ship, so the ball will stick to the ship so you can move. The ship can get rockets so that it can start like blowing up at things as you're going. You've got a city below you that you can get turrets and rockets that can also be firing at the bricks as you're also using the ball to do it. There's so many different ways to it, but it's a simple game at its heart. Like, I really, really like it. Really like it. So I would, if you like that kind of classic Brick Breaker game and you like a Survivor's like, I think this is a really interesting game to try, and I would highly recommend it.
That's Rogue Bricks.
Rogue Bricks. Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah. Sounds like a fun little way to pass time. And you played a little bit of Spirit Swap as well, didn't you?
I did, which is another lovely way to pass time. And you're
It is,
you're the ears of the podcast, Ben, so you'll probably have more to say about those lo-fi beats. But the actual, I'm the kind of puzzle person on the other side of it, and I really appreciated, like...
You're the brain.
That's it. Well, I didn't want to say that, but yeah. It is what it is.
Lewis is the man hanging off a giant cock.
It's the brawn.
I love that downgrade there. It's like, Ben, you're the ears, I'm the brain.
What was I saying? So basically the puzzle element of it is that you're swapping these spirits. So it's almost like that kind of match 3 game, but rather than just moving one into, you can only swap 2 things horizontally, and that's how it works. But it's quite low paced. You need to win 3 rounds to beat it through, and there's an underlying narrative which is actually quite nice.
It is nice. Yeah. I really like it. It's like unapologetically queer as well, isn't it?
Yes,
which I really like.
Very, very much so.
If you are any kind of bigot whatsoever, first of all, why are you listening to this podcast? But you hate this game because it's just lovely, and yeah, every character has just got some kind of different personality that just is very it's just lovely. It's really warm and fuzzy.
Yeah,
I love it.
The art style is beautiful. It's very striking, very colourful. It's just and to like play through the story on this, you're only talking about maybe 90 minutes, 2 hours, if even that.
Yeah,
to, like,
if that.
Credits. Yeah,
but then it goes
on and on.
It pops up, doesn't it? With Oh, but there's more if you want to like build your bonds with these characters and play
Start
more
dating them and
rounds.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, carry on, which is quite a nice way to do it.
Uh-huh.
And I like some of those little pop-ups that are like, if you're finding this too hard, you can skip this. Just go to the menu and skip this, which I didn't actually do. I'm proud to say, but it's nice to have that option. Always. But yeah, it's good. One other thing that's just occurred to me is this episode. If you're listening to this episode on the day it releases, thanks very much. But also, that means the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened yesterday. So why aren't we talking about it?
Disappointment.
We're not talking about it because we were recording this before that, but we have seen the other Direct that happened, which was basically the death knell of the Switch 1 library. Any thoughts on that at all? Any hot takes? Any scorching hot takes that you guys wanted to share?
Yes.
Go on.
I have a hot take.
Shoot.
I don't think Metroid Prime 4 looks very good.
It looks bland as hell.
I need convinced. All this you were saying all like psychic powers, like
Wave your hand.
yeah. I'm not convinced by it.
I get where you're coming from, but I trust them. Like I think it looks really slick, and I trust them to introduce a new game mechanic and it to be good.
But it's been in development hell for so long. Do you really trust them?
I guess it's changed. It was someone else, wasn't it? Then it went back to retro.
Bandai Namco, wasn't it, for a while?
Can't remember.
Making it.
But I think they need to release 2 and 3.
I don't know. I think I remain optimistic about that. What I'm not optimistic about is this virtual game card shite. I am very, very concerned. And I appreciate maybe they went into more detail during the Switch 2 Direct. I'm sure we'll find out. But presumably not, because I think they wanted this out there to have a little news cycle to be like, well, we've told everyone we're taking away the ability to have multiple digital games across different consoles. And we're actually just making it so you have to have different games on different consoles if you're fortunate enough to have more than one Switch, obviously, which I appreciate.
Is it not just physical ones that you've got a physical version of?
No.
This is digital.
I think this is a substitute for the way that you handle digital games. So if you've got more than one Switch, you have to decide which Switch a digital game belongs on. You can't have your whole library. So like I've got and again, appreciate this is a very privileged position. I've got a Switch Lite that I take out and about when I just want to throw something in my backpack. And I've got like an OLED at home. And we've got like the family Switch, the OG old day one Switch that the kids play on. We can't... They've just made it really convoluted to be able to move games between... That's my impression from that shite way that they presented it, but it seemed like more of a problem than a solution. It was like, I'm quite happy with the way it works at the moment, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I mean the games obviously weren't much to write home about, but that was the one thing that stuck out to me as like, oh, that's going to be shit if that's the case. But
we did get an app for news.
Yes!
I wondered if it was to sort of substitute for Twitter and how no one really uses it. It's not like a bot, and to try and have their own thing.
What, the news? Yeah, I mean, I think they will always want things on their own terms wherever possible, right? And if they've got a captive audience and they don't have to be on a platform that might get bought out by a evil billionaire, then why not do that?
Have you downloaded it?
Yep.
What theme have you gone for?
I'm pretty sure me and you went for the same thing.
Zelda?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Alex?
What theme did did you get for it? It's a Pikmin theme. Did you get a Pikmin theme?
Pikmin.
Yeah.
I haven't downloaded it yet, though.
No, shocker.
Didn't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, there's not really much to it. You're not missing out.
No, not yet. But next Wednesday, that'll be getting updated.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see. I mean, next week's show we'll obviously have our thoughts on whatever has happened at that Switch 2 reveal. So
maybe I'll have all ordered Switch 2s. I mean, there's no point in
even you.
Hi, we'll have ordered
Ye
my
of
Switch
little
2.
faith.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it'll be fine. But yeah, let's look forward to next week's news. And
yeah, I just want to say one more thing about the presentation, and that Pokemon Legends ZA looks fucking atrocious. I think they need to scrap the 3D and go back to 2D.
that would be lovely.
It does not look good. And I'm not a graphics guy. I want the game to. I just want a good game. But they're not even. I don't even think they're good. Like, just go back, simplify the whole thing. All this day-night cycle pish. Fuck off. Honestly, just make a Pokemon game.
They did a patent, filed a patent this week or last week for basically HD 2D, didn't they? Or 2D HD. Whatever it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Like their own version of it in a really convoluted way.
Yeah.
I wonder, that would be great. Hey, maybe there's hope for Pokemon.
It would be, and it would look different because I think there's too many games now with that HD 2D. There was even one in the Dragon Quest 1 and 2.
Yeah.
At the
Which
start.
looks good.
It does look good. It does look good. Yeah, but they'll fuck it up somehow. They'll find a way.
Yeah, always. Well, let's find a way to fuck up this podcast. I've got an idea for that. Let's play. Guess the outro.
Time bomb.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Is there a horse in your house?
Question 1. Is there a horse in my house? No, there isn't. Right, I've got 10 clues here. You have 10 attempts to guess what game I'm talking about. Number 10. At least 2 of us have played it.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Now, I didn't get time to talk about that this episode, Alex. You know damn well that I wanted to. No, it's not Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I may talk about on the next episode if the Switch 2 news is underwhelming. Number 9, first in the series.
Ooh. 2 people have played it. 2 of us have played it. First in the series. Ori and the Blind Forest.
That's what was in my head as well.
Weird. But no.
We are one.
Number 8. It's really hard to say number 8 whilst thinking of the number 1. Odd.
Let's try. I'll try it. 8. No.
Fuck you. It's got animals in it.
Did we not discuss this? Is not a clue.
Well, it's a question that you repeated many times.
So it's a clue that Ben will repeat many times.
Exactly. We can always go back to the old version if you preferred asking questions.
Tales of Iron.
A fine guess, but no. Number 7, side scrolling. Again, same as last week. Side scrolling.
Hollow Knight.
Not Hollow Knight. Number 6, interesting one here. This was the first ever winner of the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice for favourite video game.
Great. Did they get a surfboard?
I
Can you read through all the clues again?
All of them.
All of, so
Sure.
far.
Okay. At least 2 of us have played it. First in the series. It's got animals in it. Side-scrolling. First ever winner of the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice for favourite video game.
Shredder's Revenge.
Not Shredder's Revenge.
I was thinking of Shredder's Revenge. Last clue.
You are 1.
8.
Number 5. It's really hard. Number 5. Character name and title.
Nickelodeon Kids Awards makes it sound like it's a game from the 90s, early 2000s.
But then they might just have not started giving awards to
Yeah.
games till recently, so could just be a wee card ball in there. What games are side-scrolling with characters' names in the titles? Super Mario Brothers.
I'm going to take your first answer there.
We're talking amongst each other. But yes,
You can have it.
Rayman.
It's not Rayman. Number 4. We're rattling through these, aren't we? Number 4. Third best-selling game on the console it first released on.
Oh,
That's a hell of a clue. Hell of a clue. Hell of a clue.
Is it
Alex,
though?
any thoughts on that? It's a great clue. That narrows it down massively.
So I mean, it's a big seller, but it could be a big seller in like a shite console. It could be the third best seller in the Wii U. Like,
Yeah, could be.
oh, it might be something like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
that's not first in the series.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
It could be Donkey Kong Country.
That feels too old
Yeah,
for a Nickelodeon award.
so worth it. Yeah, that does feel too old for the Nickelodeon Award. So worth a try, and then just get to the next clue.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, that's correct. Well done.
Wow.
That was fantastic. Yeah, I thought you were going to talk yourselves out of it then. I was like, oh, pretty close. Yeah, remember it was the first ever Nickelodeon award. So that was in 1995. The game came out in 94.
I thought like 6-7 years.
No, so yeah, Donkey Kong Country beat out Aladdin and NBA Jam.
What a lineup.
Yeah.
I've actually been playing that recently.
Have you? Well, there you go. At least 2 of us have played it this year.
What, Aladdin or NBA Jam?
Donkey Kong.
I've not played that yet.
Donkey Kong Country. Your other clues would have been Hardcore Gaming 101 said the soundtrack is a compilation of some of the more memorable tunes of the 16-bit age,
Yeah.
which is very, very true. Number 2 would have been revolutionary graphics.
I think we would have got it eventually.
I think these last 3 would have sealed the deal. But obviously, that pre-rendered 3D, was it Silicon Graphics? Was revolutionary. And then number 1, it was made much like the 3 of us in good old Britain.
It's a rare gem.
Destroy this desk.
Good old blighty chaps. Oh, proud to be British. So that's
If looks could kill.
and yeah, really like it is a brilliant soundtrack. And funny, we were talking about that shitty Nintendo Today app that they've released. I've been listening to Donkey Kong Country soundtrack today on the last stupid app that Nintendo released, the
music one.
because you can put it on loop, so you can listen to it and it's like 20 seconds or a minute long. But you can put it on for... I actually repeat this, because obviously all these songs were designed to loop up during the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I realised I was listening to the song we were about to listen to for an hour straight today while I was putting this together. And I was like, sort of... But you don't even notice, because that's what that music is supposed to do, isn't it? It's just loop up.
Didn't they add like the Tetris music to that app recently as well?
Probably.
Imagine looping that for hours.
Yeah. But I think something about it. I was like locked in. I didn't even notice I was listening to the same thing over and over again. It's got in that flow state. It's brilliant. But yeah, completely spoiled for choice with the soundtrack. I was first going to go for aquatic ambience, which is like, the underwater level, which has got the famously very, very good David Wise music. David Wise obviously did the bulk of this soundtrack. But I'm going to keep it simple, and I just chose Theme, which is the main theme from Donkey Kong Country. The theme, if you will. Again, by David Wise. And it's lovely. It's a cool game. Even playing it now, it's not perfect, but it is like, it holds up, and the soundtrack especially holds up.
To be able to rewind on that game is godsend.
It makes me think I might actually finish it.
Yeah,
because you can just go, I fucked up. But yeah, that is the beauty of modern gaming, and this is a beauty from 1994, and that is Donkey Kong Country.
just stay there. I need to go and replenish my tissues.